that should be using the blue icon, and that should be using the yellow icon. If we actually have yellow and blue icons. So we have the old icons, which were horrible. Yeah, I think the issue is we need a new icon, Todd. With minecart tier 2, minecart tier 3. Minecart tier 2 is green, should be blue, and minecart tier 1 should exist. I will send you minecart T2 should be minecart T1 should be a blue equivalent. Yeah. Yes, we got minecart T2, which is green, which is wrong. And we've got minecart, which is fine because that's for minecarts, which we just don't use. I don't think we have these at all. No, they have. We've got a green one and a purple one. The purple one's fine. Purple, absolutely fine. But mostly it's just this icon. That icon should be the green one, and that icon should be the blue one. And I will check, but I don't think we have the yellow minecarts at all. I think they're now bulk ones. Which of course I can't tell because they're things. Basic fast needs to be green. Basic needs to be green. I think so. I'm just checking because we see we're T1, T2, T3, and T4, but they dynamically load the textures just to make my life really hard. Yeah, bulk are the yellow ones, yes. That's because we did kind of rejiggle all these around. I don't think we quite got it right. So, dynamic textures, freight carts. So tier 4 is yellow, tier 3 is purple, tier 2 is green. Right, so Patrick, my question is, what colour are minecarts? I don't think minecarts actually exist anymore, do they? Because here we've got the these are the items on tracks. These are the low poly versions. Minecarts are still yellow. Are you sure? So I don't mean freight carts. I don't mean gas carts. I don't mean ore carts. I mean minecarts. In that case, I might need to change that. Yes, I can change it just by renaming. That's fine. So these aren't a problem. So that becomes 3. Oopsie. So that becomes tier 4. That becomes tier 1. That becomes tier 2. And that becomes tier 3. And that doesn't have a name. And that becomes T4. No, you're quite right, you're quite right. Though I noticed, Todd, I don't care, but tier 1 has a 2 on it, tier 3 has a 2 on it, tier 3 has a 3 on it, and tier 4 has a 1 on it. Ugh, the glow maps are slightly off for that as well. Oh well. Vieira, if you head straight for lifts, I find it's generally very easy. One of the weirdest hints, weird old hint, you can do is to skip all of tier 2. So tier 2 was designed as a progression, but it's a progression without blockers. So the idea was you would find gold, then titanium, then nickel. Screw that. Go down as deep as you can. Go right down to just above biomass. So just above the cold cavern, just above the toxic cavern, and there find all 3 of your resources. Get them in a lift. Your tier 1 base should be fully automated with tons of storage. So while you're spending, several hours setting up your tier 2 base stuff, it should still be working. That's important. And then go down to about minus 800, minus whatever it is, 800? Not that far. 480-ish. Get your cargo lift set up. No, Vieira, no. Mark IIs require. So what you could do is you could go down there manually. Carry back some resources and start to make your tier 2s. But you can't make Mark 2s because Mark 2 require tier 2. What I generally don't put them 64 meters apart, by the way. I generally put them a little bit less than with the battery. I often also run a 3 wide power grid down. Oh, well, in that case, yes, do Mark 2s. The power at any point is those. Be aware of the changes to the lenses. So low tier lenses up to emerald provide a massive boost to low tier thing. Okay, so let me detail my changes and make sure I've got this right. Okay, so minecarts are now recolored to match freight carts, with the color order being green, blue, purple, orange. To be confirmed, icons have been recolored to match. So that means then that Todd also needs to fix the horrible bulk minecart texture. Oh, fuck you, Unity. Bulk minecart, because that's a fucking horrid texture. Should become I can't find it. Oh, it's just called basic or something. Oh, where is it? I can't find it. I find the bulk minecart texture over and over and over again. Okay, so bulk minecart should minecart.png should be bulk with a space, bulk with a space. And we've got the minecart T. So many icons! The minecart is great. Are you? I don't believe you. Because I've renamed it now, but the minecart loaded. It loads in the texture called minecart diff, which until now, minecart diff until now was yellow. Freight carts are thing. Different. But minecarts went yellow, green, blue, purple. How are you spawning them, though? Like, if you spawn the minecarts via the freight system, you won't get minecarts, you'll get freight carts. But I'm 90% sure what I've got was correct. What I said was correct, sorry. And we've got all the icons we need here, they're just in the wrong order. We've got 4 minecarts and whatever it's 12 freight carts. So the 4 minecarts should be basic, fast, large and bulk, which should be yellow, green, blue, purple. They're not. But they should be now. Green for basic, tier 1. Blue should be fast. Purple should be large. And orange should be bulk. This is something that we want to revisit for FortressCraft 2 to make sure everything is consistently the right colour for the tier. Because I don't think the cargo lifts are, for example. The basic cart spawned via freight Yeah, but that's not a minecart, that's a freight cart. Oh god, you want to do 3D models for all the icons in the game? Todd, seriously? Oh god. I don't think it would be simple. Don't forget, Todd, you'd have to texture them separately. Yeah, well, the thing is, part of the problem, Todd, is that we've got these 4 carts here, but these are really old, and then we have the however many it is, 12 new carts. So the problem is that these ones predate the plan of actually doing the colours correctly. But we do have 4. I don't know why they've actually got 5 in this list. That has to be said. Why do we have 5? Really, Todd? I can't tell if you're joking. The ore cart can only carry ore. Why does it have to be different? Well, you can look at the model and see that. Because these carry boxes. And these carry... that other shit. Or, where's the really nice text you did? Yeah. So, because these carry ore, and they can carry 100 ore. Yeah, but you can't no, because then it's not ore anymore. That's the point. It's raw ore. The other point is specialization. So this can only carry like 50 or 100 or whatever it is, but this can carry much more because it specializes. Dude, have you never seen a real train? Maybe do Google a picture of a train for you. Goods train. Yeah. Notice, see, these are in boxes. Yeah, so notice they're in boxes. And then notice that these are not in boxes because they're carrying coal. I know. Look, you see? Look. They're different. And then, if you look at ones that carry oil... Yeah, but it's not like that. It's genuinely... You can actually use the freight carts for anything, if you so want to. They will carry ore, but then rubbish at it. So specialisation just means you can set stuff across, and it's for balance. So if the freight carts could carry 500, they'd be well out of whack. But overall, generally, I try and avoid that. what you're saying. So you said, well, this is 1.5, this is 1.2, this is 1.9. Because if I do that, what happens is no one pays any attention. So generally, green things do 1, blue ones do 10, purple ones do 100, and I forgot the other colour. The last one is like 1,000. That helps. If I turn the lights off, you can actually see the bloody colours. Yeah, we've got a big orange light on somewhere. That actually helps, and I'm actually going to colour these because that does make my life a whole bunch easier. Having those actually properly colour coded. That's why I've got these different colours, is just to make life a little bit easier. No, I don't disagree with you, Todd. I mean, the difficult part is, the really difficult part is making it simpler. No, the difficult part is making it more accessible without being accused of dumbing it down. That's the hard part. I totally don't disagree. Absolutely not. I mean, this is something that we found many times over the years. Like, the simpler you make stuff, the more it sells. It's just that simple. It really is. Unrelated. Why is this? This should be... Right, that makes my life a whole bunch easier. Well, thankfully, we actually know what we're doing. Because again, when we... That's the wrong card. When we did FortressCraft 1, I mean, we had no clue that we were going to what we're going to have. I mean, just didn't. So over the years, I have stripped a whole bunch of stuff out. And I have simplified it. But people get a bit unhappy when you do that. So what I've had to do is do that as much as possible. Before FortressCraft 2, there's a whole bunch of stuff I just want to strip out because it's not making it... it's not making it better. An example would be... So, hold on, if I find the coils... Initially... Or still, technically, the game supports all of these items. Okay, but we don't use all of these. We use one of these, one of these, one of these, one of those. So the game did have so much stuff in it. When was it? Patch 15. I massively simplified it, and it really helped. That really improved things, because no longer was it, well, lithium wire. It just meant all wire was copper, all coils were lithium, all plates were tin. It was so much easier. And ironically, I've been playing Astroneer. They've done the opposite. They've just added in dozens of new materials, and I'm like, I can't remember this many. But a lot of it is about being consistent, and that's why I want to make this last change here. So carts are consistently green, blue, purple, orange. Now, technically, the scrap carts are kind of wrong, because the scrap carts are kind of brown, but that's okay, I think. It's brown, but with white elements. Well, I'm afraid, Todd, that is one thing I don't think we're going to be able to get away with skipping. I'm afraid we're almost definitely going to have to do all of the UI again. If not for no other reason, that is going to be the one thing people will compare off visually. Even if it's a visual change, nothing else. But yeah. As we said though, with a lot of the Factorio reviews, I can sum up nearly all of the Factorio reviews as this is too complicated. Like far more than any other consistent Factorio based comment, this is too complicated. Oh god, there's a lot of comments in that Reddit thread. Oh god. I have one complaint about FortressCraft. Your game has a lot of bugs. For instance, it messes with the clock of my computer. It goes from 8 PM to 12 PM in only a few minutes. Very good. I wish I could skin FortressCraft and the lights too much purple. Purple? I have FortressCraft, but I can never get into it. All right, that's so far. This next part, right, is the statement of a person who needs serious fucking help. The way that conveyors can go up and don't even have connecting textures just pisses me off. Now, you've all played FortressCraft, and you all know exactly what he's talking about. But quite importantly, right, man, it doesn't force you to do that, does it? It does kind of, you can do what you like. Now, if he wants connecting textures, then you use slopes. Exactly. This is like you have done it this way and it's pissed you off and it's my fault. Todd, you know we're not doing FortressCraft 2 from scratch, right? Because that would take about a decade. I mean, I don't know how I would make the game pad friendly without making a very different game. But I played a game by a friend of mine, and in it you interact with some characters. I'm not going to say which game it is because I thought it was fucking awful, and if he's listening I don't want to piss him off. But there's a bunch of characters in it you can interact. So there are, let's say, 4 characters, and let's say each of those characters, and they can go to a total of 6 positions. So you have to hold right trigger
and then use up and down on the D-pad to select which character, then let go of both of those and press A to confirm, and then you have to use the left analog stick to move a cursor around to decide where. And I'm like, it's like the worst blob of pad-based and mouse-based together. But with... How can I describe this? So, Terraria initially... was a PC game. Then they added in a branch for consoles. The branch completely redid the UI, and this was really good. And Terraria with the pad UI was exceptionally good. And then I went back to it recently, and I scratched my head for a bit because I couldn't work out why it wasn't as good as I remember. And then I did a bit of Googling, and essentially the devs couldn't be bothered to keep two branches or multiple branches going for all the different platforms. So they just have sort of a quick recompile. So it goes back to moving a virtual cursor around with the screen. So this is something for Todd and I to think about. Is let's just take this dialogue alone. How the fuck do you do this on a pad? Like, do you have a highlight that you go and you click on a dialogue box and it pops up? Do you want to move it into your suit or into your inventory? I guess so. We could do that, maybe. But then, like, the hopper interactions, things like that. I don't really want to think about this sort of stuff. We might do it, but I don't want to think about it. So, like, there. Again, I guess you could use bumpers for tab between there. Well, this is the thing. I mean, the closest example would probably be No Man's Sky. Because Astroneer love the game. Fucking awful on a pad. But now, what game was it I played? I played another game. What was it? Actually, I think it was the same game. If I was playing that game, and I'm not going to mention what the game was, on keyboard and mouse, I reckon it would have been 10 times better. It was just such a struggle. Oh, and I played Reassembly on pad, and that was just about playable. And I played the Embartus Drone Constructor on pad. I've been looking at sort of somewhat more complicated games on pad, and quite frankly I couldn't bring myself to play them because they were so poor. I genuinely don't know how I would do this. Placing isn't too bad, so moving around and placing isn't too bad. You've got pick, you've got build to me, all of those are kind of okay. Like this part of it, pick, build, rotate, that's okay. But pick, build, move, rotate, jump, interact, and you're rapidly running out of buttons. I would like to make it a pad-based game, but that I suspect will be a decision that we'll make after FortressCraft 1 has released. So the publisher is still planning on doing a FortressCraft port to console. So if it's popular, then we'll do a good job of it. Otherwise, it might not be worth the effort. Todd and I have kind of made a plan to primarily do pad-based games from for the rest of it.
Coming up to 3 o'clock and I've still not heard anything back from the vet. As I said, no news is good news. No, I have no current plans to use a publisher ever again unless there are significant reasons to do so. There's just no things. Well, Vieira, I said that he's old, he's not very well. All that's being done today is hopefully they'll work out what's wrong. There is every chance that what he's got is cancer. It's also, however, is much more likely that it's gallstones. So we'll see. So, I mean, I thought this. I wanted to play Starbound the other day, and I discovered it didn't have pad support, and it was just too complicated. And I genuinely, I really think that a lot of games are too complicated. Now, FortressCraft, to be fair, is a complicated game, and that's kind of what it is. It is complicated. And that's kind of the point. But I would like games that are simple and fun generally do better, and you can pick them up for just a few minutes, but that's not FortressCraft's thing. And I think, to be honest, that might be partly why it has sold so well, because it is long term. But yeah, I mean, with Todd and I mean, we need to. Part of the problem is I'm not really prepared to redo the procedural interfaces. So that's a really big question. So that's actually done in code. That's completely done in code, and we can do anything we like in code. But it's a question now. Todd would much rather he generated this, and we just had one. But the problem is that these are done by modders. So if we hard code these, modders can no longer use them. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Factorio is pretty simple. Right? You can complete the whole game in what it is 45 minutes. Yeah, so the thing with Starbound is it just annoyed me. In a lot of ways, it's just a shame because I would like to have enjoyed. Because I want more games like Terraria. I really enjoyed Terraria, and after a while, I was sort of going, you know what? I'd really like to do two-dimensional FortressCraft. So the same game. So it's kind of like Terraria. It's side on. You go from up high to down low. You do all those sort of things, and you end up building ore extractors and defending against Minox, and there are hive mines. So it's kind of like a cross section of the game. I'd like to do that. I would. Well, I mean, there are a number of Terraria games, but they're just not that good. There was going to be a FortressCraft 2D, but Kotaku did an article on basically a private video. Part of what I would like to do, though, is I would like to review the way machines work. I would like to redo these things. I would potentially like to do these as a texture, so they just scale. And there is still a distinct chance that VR will become
the de facto way of doing it. But right now, all of these machines could do with little readouts. We're also going to make a bigger deal about multi-block machines. It's just lots of plans. And not necessarily getting Todd to enjoy the game, but certainly making the game so Todd can understand it is a helpful thing. We still get people being confused. And I do say to people, look, the help's all there if you read it. And it does also surprise me how few people just Google their answer. Because very often you just Google it and the answer's right there. And thank you, Arrakis. Well, see, Lord, I won't accept that statement because you said machines. That's the other thing to remember. There's no such thing as machines, right? There are an awful lot of machines in the game. But some of them, perhaps. So one of the things I'd like to do is the crafting machines. Ones that have a very obvious and visual forwards should have a directional output. Now, this is not something I can change in FortressCraft 1, or I would have, for the simple reason that if I did that, it would break every base out there. But machines that have a definite offload or onload would be done. They look cool. But some machine, but they don't have an actual forwards. None of these machines care what direction they do something in. So equally, you could have that machine there like that, and that there, and it will it'll offload that way. It genuinely doesn't care. But that's because we had this concept, this directional offload concept was added a long time afterwards. So in FortressCraft 2, machines will have a forward offload. They will only offload forwards. They won't offload in all directions. Now I need to be aware, this isn't something that people will be happy about for an existing base, and it's something that existing players might be unhappy about, but for new players it's far easier and far more understandable, and that's the important thing, is will new players understand this? Yeah, well, I absolutely do not want people to have dense bases. Discouraging dense bases is very important for a whole number of reasons, starting with this user's confused themselves, moving on to the game runs like shit. Okay, so Brian, the only machines that do care about offload direction are the assembly line machines, and as pointed out, the things are color coded. Yellow is logistics, pink ones have specific offload direction, and all of these they don't. So as I said, they look like they do, but they actually don't. So all of these, they look like they will offload in a certain direction. These are still very dark anyway, but they don't. So some machines don't. So these ones will happily offload to that storage hopper or that storage hopper. They don't care. They do a bit because they don't really power, but yeah. Will it be possible to import FTE base? I've no plans to do any major changes to that, so probably yes. So there's no plans to change the file format. I don't think I'm doing any radical changes to the world. The rendering, sure. Additional storage stuff, sure. But I expect it will work. But if it doesn't, oh well. Is the new tutorial system the new tutorial system? What new tutorial system are you talking about? What is the new tutorial system? Oops. I honestly, I get confused at people's response to the FortressCraft tutorial. Because the tutorial is in the top right. It is a combination of readout of your base and explanation of what you should do. And it boggles my mind why people get really upset that the game is trying to help them. Like, I don't know. That never has to happen, Lord. There are no recipes that are 5 in, 1 out. None. There's only a tiny handful that are anything other than 1, 2, or 3. I don't have. I won't say I don't have much time for, but like, I don't generally support anybody who is trying to automate anything that you make less than 1,000 of. The orbital railgun, the orbital energy transmitter is just pods, isn't it? Can't remember. I have to be said. I wouldn't generally automate that, as you need an exact number. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but as I said, I wouldn't generally. It's pods and resin. But that's a rare one. But yeah, so the game, to my mind, has ongoing tutorial. I've already written some notes about the chapter-based stuff, so it should be clear what you're doing. But I would prefer to do tutorials in air quotes. I can't find the frickin' thing. What's the heists? Or the freeze-on injector. Yeah. So to my mind, these are self-evident tutorials. I'd like to do more stuff like that. I mean, you can't just use the word tutorial. Again, tutorial covers pop-up dialogue hints, it covers flashing lights, it covers missions, it covers the initial stuff. It covers all of that. That's the point, Lieutenant. I'm like... Patrick is using the word tutorial to cover a huge swathe of things. But yeah, I would call this a tutorial at its smallest level. Okay, but what is tutorial if not an in-game prompt? You've built a machine, you don't know how to use it, it shows you, it goes, oh, do this. Where's the heist? What does it look like? You go, it looks like a little heist, yeah. So again, the heist is the same thing. And it's even better, the heist, because when you put the sword chopper down, the lid shuts. Yeah, but no, it's a tutorial. How is that not a tutorial? It's a very simple tutorial. It's immediately obvious. But part of the problem is, I explain to people like, oh, you should put tutorial in for X. Let's think of something. You should put a tutorial in for upgrading the smelter. I'm like, well, we have a mission, but when do I show you that tutorial? What form does that tutorial take? It's one of those sort of things. That is a definition of a tutorial, certainly. But button prompts could be a tutorial. Yeah, look at Minecraft, where it doesn't tell you anything at all. And if you don't go and read a wiki page, you're fucked. Yeah, exactly. And Zebra has it. And if I try and do that, I'll get accused of hand-holding. So, what I've tried to do is to give you just enough, in that sort of first 2 minutes of the game, you get a bit of a brain dump. Now, there are some stuff in that first minutes I will remove. One of the examples is, it absolutely should not tell you to power up the laser, the ore extractor by hand. After that, I was hoping the player would happily go off and do stuff and go, yeah, I'm going to explore and have fun. But what actually happens, they go, what am I supposed to do? That's why the mission system is. The mission always says, like, if you don't know what to do, here's what to do. Now, I'm afraid anything you say that makes more tutorial, I will point out we already get plenty of complaints that the game is too hand-holdy, that it tells you what to do, and it complains if you don't play it the way DJ wants you to. If you ask me to remove any of the tutorial-based stuff, I will point out that a great many of the Factorio reviews end up with me going, I don't know what to do. Now, again, I've done this on stream before. I've played Factorio, and I have played Factorio without any sort of what's the word? I've just done what it's told me. I haven't done anything at all apart from that. If it tells me to do something, I do it. If it doesn't tell me to do something, I don't do it. You can play Factorio for about 3 minutes that way, and then the Factorio assumes that you will go off and you will do something. If you don't, you'll just sit there going, what am I supposed to do? Vieira, what is a huge complaint? Sorry. Well, disable it then. Little button there, minimal tutorial. Click, done. Yeah, but the thing is, Vieira, I don't. The only time I ever force people to play it the way I want to play it is when they've worked out a way of not playing it. So, for example, on-site smelting. Oh, you just want to play it your way? I'm like, no, it's just broken the other way. What the hell, dude? I don't think Tutorial World's going to happen. Firstly, Patrick, no one is going to fucking read it good, are they? They will skip it. You know they will. Because they are also the same people who can't be bothered to read these guides. Pull-based education does not work. It must be push. Has to be push. So, I do need to also fully be aware there is no way I will ever make everybody happy. That ain't never going to happen either. So, definite more use of individual machine tutorials. The thing is, I say to people, I'm like, just build the machine. See what it does. It won't hurt. Like, build it. This is why we get missions like, build the garbage thief. People are like, why would I need that? I'm like, well, it takes the garbage out. Well, that's what it does. Yes. It's one of those, I don't have a better way of making the game ask you to do stuff apart from just saying, look, have a go. I can't pop up a dollar going, hello, I know you're in the middle of something, but I'm just going to pop up like a page of text on the garbage thief and when you should use it. I just be like sort of saying to people, hey, build it, have a go, play with it. It's kind of cool. Possibly, Lord, but there's also a very big argument. The easier and more accessible I make the game, the more money I make. And I think that is a true statement. I think Warcraft proves that as a true statement. The watchword should, the watch phrase should be easy to learn, hard to master. More than anything else. And that is very easy to say and very hard to do. I mean, I think, honestly, overall, I think FortressCraft does better than most. I mean, Subnautica just drops you off with go find titanium, and I'm like, where? How? You just want me to run around and look for it? Oh, God. And I lost interest. It might be another way of doing it, but I just lost interest at that point. So that's a problem. And Terraria, when Terraria shipped, I played it and went, this is shit.
And it was only Steve who pointed out first that I was playing it wrong, because you can't play it like Minecraft. And I was like, oh. And then they added in like a lot of the tutorial and help. So when you first got Terraria, and again, Terraria is the game I thoroughly love. And just because I love it doesn't mean I can't tell you about all the things wrong with it, because I can and I will. So Terraria, when it first shipped, didn't mention you could build houses, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. It didn't mention you have to build houses. That just wasn't brought up. It wasn't even slightly mentioned. So if you played Terraria, you had to build houses for all the NPCs. It just didn't have any of that. The only way you would know that existed would be if you went and looked it up on a wiki. There would be no, or through sheer trial and error. There was absolutely nothing in the game directing you to that. Starbound, again, for a while, I just sort of wander around going, what am I supposed to be doing and why? I don't want to be handheld, but I do want to be, at any point, I want to sit back and go, what now? I mean, here, the game is telling me I should do copper extract. I've got some scans to process and buy my coals out of power. I'm loving that reflection map there. Oh, you can see me in the reflection map, or just my gun. I am super happy with that reflection map. And if you don't like it, I don't care. So, this is something, I mean, we will be addressing. It's probably also very true to say that, like, we'll say Age of Conan et al. It's only the first 20 minutes of the game need to be nearly perfect. The first 5 hours should be fine. And by that point, the player has made up their decision, or they haven't. So, that's something to think of. Yeah, well, the thing is, Lord, what will happen? People will tick the Turn of all tutorials and then write a review about how they don't know what to do. That's the problem. That's what happens in reality, unfortunately. And that's the thing. It's to a great degree. I'm afraid it's quite true. Yeah, you can't fix stupid, but you can make it so stupid can't do stupid things, or at least do your best towards that. It's a difficult one. I mean, the problem with all of this, every quote unquote UI comment, there's no answer. There's no best solution. If there was, everybody would be doing the same. If you look at any of the big heavy hitters in the genre, Ark, Subnautica, Terraria, honestly, as a rule, the hand-holding is fucking awful. They just don't give you any clue what to do. But they are games that are very popular, and because they're very popular, people have done Let's Plays and wiki pages. I mean, one of the complaints I had on Reddit earlier was literally that. Oh, the wiki page is out of date. Like, it's a wiki, dude. Like, people complaining that the community wiki is just I can't yeah. It's like me complaining my car's dirty. We'll go wash it then. Yeah. Yes, I don't like the idea of pop-ups. I prefer it to be in the corner. You can just glance.
I would say, okay, so this is an idea, but runs into the push/pull issue. So one of the solutions would absolutely be to have a less intrusive solution. I'm not talking about visually. I'm just talking about the concept. But we could have the missions appear on a mission board, like so. It wouldn't look like that. So there could be a mission board at the CPH. I suspect we will also make the CPH much bigger. Let me see if I can just quickly doodle what I mean. So I would envisage the CPH being much bigger, and you get your sort of your little central blibbly there, but then you'd also have your crafting station here, and then you'd have a vehicle bay or something here. So we're talking about a something that's much bigger than what we've got. So the game starts off just type slash. Oh, there's a command for it. Is it not just slash mission report? Honestly, though, XE, yeah? If you are annoyed by a dialogue that appears once per hour, you have a problem. And you should go away and rethink. Maybe take up yoga or Zen or something and be much calmer. Once an hour with a 5-minute warning. Anyway, that would mean that the mission board actually appears as a blibbly 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 blibbly. Well, if you want an explanation of how the machine works, here's an 8-page readout for the hopper. 3 pages of text. I don't know more what I could do. I bet you've never read that one. I bet you've never read the help file for the smelter. I bet you've never read the help file for the... Probably... Oh, I haven't researched that one yet. I think this stuff is here. Virtually every machine's got a help file. I don't know. I don't know. Possibly. The thing is, what I'm kind of thinking about is we'll say a 20 by 20 modular base. And then you upgrade bits of it. So you start off with the mission report, but not the vehicle bay, and then you actually craft the vehicle bay. So a bit more of a little sort of start base. The germothermal's fine, Lord, but you have to have the pipes and the freeze-on boosts. Without those, they're pretty weak. But they're balanced. Yeah, so that's just the way I would like to change the CPH from being something that... It may even be the game starts off, you're here, you're on the planet, and you've got a beacon. You actually need to place a 25 by 25, and then it will build and do things, blah, blah, blah. But that should solve a lot of the issues. It means we don't have the constant UI, but the amount of views just saying, I don't know what to do. And then the answer is just do what it tells you. The game tells you at all points what it thinks you should be doing. And it does kind of boggle my mind, really, that people go, oh, I don't know what to do. They still don't. What? When you say geothermal can't touch an infused coal power plant, what's the ratio? Like 30-1? Did you freeze on boost it? The thing is, I mean, you can just stick with coal, but my God, you'll be getting through a lot of coal. I don't see what you mean. You don't mean a single coal plant. "32 coal infusers." Yeah, well, sure. That's a lot of coal you're getting through. I can't actually look up the freeze on numbers. I was actually looking at this. I'm not going to change it, FortressCraft 1, but I was actually looking at this during our playthrough. The combination of logistics Falcors and enriched coal is so good. I've basically made solars irrelevant. But 32 coal infusers will be getting through what? Nearly 4,000 coal an hour. That's a lot of coal. The point about geothermals is not necessarily that they're totally imber. It's that they are infinite and free. They're long term. So you couldn't run a railgun setup on. Oh, was that nice? You couldn't run a railgun on coal. You can't do it. You have to run it on freeze-on, not solar. My PC's making noises and I don't know why. Someone is messaging me. Is that Reddit? Maybe? Maybe it's Reddit. Oh, I have no idea what these noises are. Oh, here we go. Oh, we don't. They are. So again, so one of the things I think FortressCraft does very well on, that I don't think people generally pick up on, except to complain, is it is very good at never giving you a best solution. So, coal is quite good power, but limited peak, but quite easy to set up. Turbines are still limited, but give a lot more power, but are a bit harder to set up. Solar is easy to set up, infinite, but quite low power. Geothermal is high power and hard to set up, but also infinite. There isn't a best solution. Now, you could not run a railgun on coal. You absolutely could not do that. You'd be burning through veins in an hour. So I hope that works. There's no best solution. Yes, you've got to babysit it. So that's not the best solution because well, it's just not. I think you're really understating geothermal. It's probably on the internet somewhere. FortressCraft geothermal. Let's have a look. There'll be a page on it. I can't. Hopefully, this will give it. Yeah. So yeah, they're 5,000 per second. Yeah, I think they're 5k PPS. 5,400. I think so. Yes, that's the equivalent of 84 plants. I think, is that right? Are they 64 per power? I can't remember. If I do 5, 4, 6, 8, 6 hours, close enough. Yeah, 80. It's either 80 or 40. So one turbine is equivalent to either 80 or 40. No, they're not. They're not. Aren't they 32? Are they 32, 64, 128? I can't remember. Has to be said. Oh, it's the terrain. Oh, I can't. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to work that out. It's just quadruple whatever they normally are, though. That I remember. Because it's double and then double again, which is probably too sharp a burn anyway. But I already knew that. I'm just not prepared to sort of nerf it right now. Wait, that's not coal. Coal. Oh, bugger. This is a problem I've had before, is that it's generally to do with solars and the actually, maybe just out-research that and carry on. So the usual problem is the solars are really good compared to the turbines because they are almost no effort to set up. So that's something I have struggled to check. So hold on, this is 32, so it's 32, 64, 128. So it is 5468/128. Yeah, so 42. So each fully boosted geothermal is equivalent, more or less, to 48 coal turbines. That means that you're getting through. What's the burn time? Oh, I've done it again. I've done it again. 30 seconds to get through 2 coal a minute. 48 times 2 times 60. 6,000, just short of 6,000 coal per hour to run things. Best will in the world. You're going to be running Frozen Factory for 40 hours. So you're looking at 6,000 times 40, 250,000 coal. That's not too bad. That's something else I would like to boost up, is the sheer amount of stuff that you need. I'd much rather the player is moving. Everything is half as good, but the player's moving twice as much. Like to soup up the logistics part of it. Lord, I think our base is almost entirely solar. I did a rush playthrough that was solar only. That was regretful. Because the solar was very hard. And then we just built turbines. It was way better. But yeah, it's a tricky thing to balance. Because as you have discovered, people they really like, instead of building a tier 1 then a tier 2, they build a tier 1 and then they build 10 tier 1s and then 100 tier 1s, and I'm like, please build tier 2s. I've seen people with entire fields of tier 1 turrets, and I'm like, you could replace all of that with about 10 Mark 2s. Well, it depends. Solar is a simple equation anyway. It produces 25% of peak power. So it is a very simple equation. So that's good. But yeah, that's... I think overall, coal should probably be about 8 times more usage. It should be by the time you get around to looking at solar. You're like, oh, thank God, I'm reducing the amount of coal. I'm getting through so much coal. Yeah, solar is an easy number. So organic solar has produced 25% of the peak. Dead easy. But yeah, as I said, right now, kind of amusingly, because we don't have missiles, we've gone almost entirely with solar. Where's my... oh, yeah, of course. So we've been doing that. No one's really gone... I think Peter was kind of looking in biomass, but I said it's not... This isn't really a playthrough. This is just a... it's just been a set of bug testing, really, as you do. So yeah, we've gone with Mark IV turrets and solar, which is all right. It's basically, if we get attacked during the day, we're okay. If we get attacked during night, it doesn't last. So that's been kind of funny, really. But yeah, I'm... No, Lord. So the point is, right now, there is not much pressure to move away from coal. So that is something I would like to resolve. So the player starts off with coal, but by the time that they are getting to their base size where they should be thinking about turbines, I want them to get through so much coal that they're dying for a solution. And part of that is just to reduce the burn rate of coal. And that's not a difficult thing. I mean, now we're talking about balance issues for a sequel. So that is not something I need to worry about today, tomorrow, this year. But yeah, you should be destroying coal. Like, you should be absolutely just smashing through massive coal. Obi, I responded to you when you listed the bug, and I explained to you why you were an idiot. Would you like me to do it again, Obi? I can do it again. Obi, you're an idiot. Why are you an idiot? Well, Obi, you didn't read the help file, did you? Let's read the help file, boys and girls. Where is it? Oh, God damn it. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, Obi, it spits out like 15 of them. So you feed it one copper bar and it spits out like 15 conveyors, but it takes a while to spit the 15 out. I can't show you because I'm in the editor. I don't have any of the data files I've loaded. If it's not that, let me know. But it's generic, so... Oh, wait, hold on. Where's... we've got paste to call. So no one's come up here for like 10 hours. That's fine. And our iron's out. Not surprising. So yeah, we went with a solar setup here, mostly because of the problem. Same thing with the trains in Factorio. Same issue. It's much easier just to build 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, than to go... I'm going to make a conscious step now towards the next tier. Because it's just more effort. So you might as well just build 1 and then 1 more, then 1 more, then 1 more, then 1 more. Which is what we did. So again, that's something that needs to be evaluated. I don't think biomass gets used enough. I think we increased the use of biomass last patch, I think. Now, the thing is, now we're getting to the point where perhaps even the most dim-witted of people might go, you know what? I might like to think about a better source of power because I'm building an awful lot of batteries. So, yeah, it's quite likely by this point the penny might be dropping that this is not a sensible approach. You can win on just solar. I've done it before. Just wouldn't really call it a sensible way of doing it. Fair enough, Zebra. Yeah. So due to cats and other things, my plan for today's gone out the window. So I might just shunt the Twitch mixer plan till tomorrow, and we'll do that then. Other than that, I mean, I'm not exactly stalling. I'm mostly here waiting for the vet to ring because I will be going to pick Cepheus up, and then I may or may not come back online. I suspect I probably won't. I suspect I will feed him, and then I will pop him on his warm blankie, and him and I will play computer games the rest of the day. Mostly me. He tends to just watch. He offers some advice on boss fights and stuff, but he's not really very good. Hopefully we get more people involved as the FortressCraft 2 development goes on, because as hopefully some of you are realising, it's not just, quite often it's not as simple as just coming up with the idea. You come up with the idea and then the next question is, how do you do that? And then the next question is that even a good idea? And sometimes something seems like the best idea and it's really not. But yeah, I definitely, Lord, I have already got plans to make coal substantially more used than it currently is. Absolutely. So I say I want you to get to the point where you are really happy to go on to solar. Not because it will replace your coal, but because it will supplant it. No, I just wanted to put the batteries down. I may be streaming this again. What day is it today? I can't remember. Because of what is the winter sale. Winter sale? I know what it's called. My format's so awful in the editor.
Why would a tablet game not just be like a Mac? Tablets are easy because you have a touch screen. Dead easy. Consoles are hard. Tablets are easy. Like tablets, you just make it a mouse interface basically. Just don't have multiple button presses. Piss easy. But yeah, by this point we would have spent substantially less resources on turbines. More than anything else. But yeah, I'm not going to be long, and I'm going to go on to... I'm going to go bring the vet, because they said 4, and it's 3:30 now, so I'm like... more than a little anxious about my cat, because I'm an idiot human being. Human beings are adorable. Human beings are not only the only creature that willingly adopts young of another species, we are also the only species who will prefer the young of another species over our own. Literally the only one. Actually, that's the opposite of what I just said. I just said, it looks like I will be streaming this week because the publisher wants me to stream because apparently it helps sales a bunch. But it looks like by that point it'll be Frozen Factory. I'm pretty sure we could win now just by trying. Uh-oh. That's why you don't use build me when it's building. Oh. But yeah, once you got the fields of solar like this, I would hope... I haven't seen anyone actually do this, by the way. Nearly always people go on to turbines. But I think now, with this much power... But I think we've only got 4 turrets. That was kind of more where I was going, was if you give them enough power, can you win with just 4 turrets? And I think you can. And I think these look great. So this is why I was talking about that bloke yesterday going on about how the text in FortressCraft looks shit. I'm like, some do, some don't. Yeah, Zebra, I assume there was a reason for this. So probably then tomorrow what I will do is I will be on the other game. So the other game is a mixer game. And the game itself is not done, but the game itself is started. It's prototyped. It's begun. But I now need to write the mixer integration, and I can base it on their pre-act system, and then I can embed the unique controls in and then I've said all the words that I understand, and then I rapidly evolve into words I don't really understand. But I hope you're all going to be here for that, because it's going to be quite cool. And the best thing is, because of the nature of the game, when it works, you will get to play it immediately on Mixer. How cool will that be? Very is the answer to my question. Really? Doesn't really matter though, there's nothing here. That might even be on purpose, I don't really know, but could also be an accidental deletion. But yeah, notice the tracks are 2 colours now, they're one. So if I delete that, these ones are now purple, and these ones are now whatever colour that is. Ah! Yeah, good spot. I think what's happened here... that's me. So what's happened here... Oh, is it for testing? Okay. Yes, Zebra. Exactly that. It's a game that you play on Mixer. A single PC streams the Mixer content to the internet, and you click on it. Yes. Sorry, Zebra, don't worry about it. I said I've not been, like, caring about this server It's just been... I'm happy with all the fixes, though. We did have some freight car issues initially, but most of that was because I was trying to use the one-ways as block signals. Shouldn't do. Interesting we don't have... Huh. I think at this point, I will push this build up on the internet. Todd has a few things for tomorrow, but there's nothing major. Okay. Oh no, Molten Core was the original name. Whoopsie. Oh no, I dropped my fidget spinner. Oh no. No, I'm not cool. Man, it's everywhere. It's just exploded all over the floor. Oh man. Sad face. Oh, I need to turn my light on. Oh. So, I've done about better basis fixes to this now, which could potentially help. So he has got the research key. Charged is lithium, yeah. So and that's a good example of the what I was talking about, the language of FortressCraft. So anything that's charged is always lithium. I'm mostly not paying attention, because I've got bits of stuff all over my floor now, and I can't find the last bit. So I have a whole situation where I have 2/3 of a fidget spinner. Complex. I thought we renamed. Oh, the pod. No, complex is gold. Complex is gold. Basic, simplified, intermediate, complex, advanced, XL, ultimate. And I think we've kept that naming convention consistent. So ultimate is always titanium, etc. But yeah, I'd like to. I think they are internally called complex, but externally called charged. I think. Yeah, because internally they're called Research Pod Complex, but the name should be called Charged. The Research Assembler, by the way, is one of the very, very, very
Oh, Morning Cryptic. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Aha. That might be complex pods, yeah. Charged pods. That's the most minor thing ever. The ultimate upgrade module is... yes, yellow, because yellow is the 4th tier. That's one of those slightly annoying... do you worry about the colour of what it's made of, or do you worry about its tier? Yeah, which is a tricksy one. I'm probably just about at the end of the stream. I need to ring the vet in a minute. As I said, normally what happens is I ring the vet. They're like, "Oh yes, he's fine. Come and get him at any point." And I assumed that if something had happened, I would have got a phone call. I'm just doing a build, then uploading it, then I'm done. I think Zeb already did that. So tomorrow, there will probably be a short bit of FortressCraft in the morning, and that will be Todd's texture, skin and icon fixes, and then that should be it. Now that should be the end of it. There will be a day or two of testing, and then that should be the end of FortressCraft. There may be another tiny echo patch. I probably won't be touching FortressCraft again until the new year. At that point, when I will have the rather sad task of blowing away the subversion entirely. So it's about 100 gigabytes of data, FortressCraft, and it's got about another 100 gigabytes of history. So I will be clearing up the branches. I'll be clearing up a number of the older massive assets. We'll be uploading everything to a new SVN. I probably won't do that bit on stream. Or yeah, I don't need to. The history's no use to me. I'm 99% sure I've got a backup, but I've got the code already. Like, I don't care about the history or the subversion. I care about the live code, not the history's sake. I pop that on X. Let's the end back up. I mean, I probably will. Just trying to remember which user I need to use. It's that one. So I've got two users and I can never remember. That's the website username, so it's the other one. So it's this one, SVN. I'll grab it off if it'll make you happy. but we are talking about a huge, huge thing. Because Subversion is slightly better. The main thing to remember, and I professionally worked with a great number of version control systems. So Cryptic, there are two statements, okay? And I will make these statements, and these are statements of fact, okay? Not statements of opinion, okay? So opinion, Subversion is better than Git. Fact. All version control software is shit. It's just that it is all, any given piece of software is shit in a different way. Git is shit. Git is bollocks and has loads of things wrong with it. SVN is shit and it's bollocks and there's loads of things wrong with it. In my opinion, Subversion has less wrong with it than Git. Fact number 2, everything is better than SourceSafe, which is the worst thing ever. I mean, example will be the religious Subversion has this religious, we will never let you delete your history. And my God, honestly, because someone said, I want to be able to obliterate the history. And someone goes, oh, you should never do that. Do you not understand journal file system? That's not how it works. You should never do that. And someone goes, don't think you understand. I'm dealing with actual users, and one of them has just committed a 200 gigabyte file that I cannot delete. All I can do is mark it as not available. So yeah, Subversion lacks the obliterate command. I would like to be able to say to Subversion, I would like you at the end of each month to make a snapshot of the history. I only need month by month history. I don't need version by version history. And it's very rare I go back more than a year. I just don't need history back a year. So I'd like to be able to configure that. Nope. And which is fine for text files, but as lots of people pointed out in these threads going on about, I'd like the obliterate command. Users. So adapter is probably the worst one. So adapter, we committed the lighting. Wait, it's just it's completed that. That's obviously rubbish. We committed the lighting, and each of those lighting changes is enormous. Can't begin to put into words how big those lighting changes are. So you're talking about a 100 megabyte file, and you commit it, and then that 100 megabyte file is just like another 100 megabytes every single time. Oh, I think I may have just... a little concerned. I may have actually just wiped... Oh, no, that looks good. There we go. That's going now. Yes, I'm downloading the Subversion SVN, which it reckons totals 4 kilobytes. It doesn't know, does it? No, there we go, 300 kilobytes. It's just doing it. Oh, no, you missed the point, Vieira. If you do have binary diffs, and it's a binary file that has very little in common, it's 100 megabytes. Every time you commit it, it's 100 megabytes. Which is obviously eventually going to use up a lot of space. So that's the problem. It is a binary diff, that's fine. But like if you have a file and you add 1 byte to the beginning of the file, the rest of the file might be the same as the previous file, but it doesn't match up. That's why you need chunks. Like chunk stuff like Steam does. But I don't know of any system that does that. It's just not really how it works. Apparently we were looking at a 35 gigabyte download. I don't believe that. I think it just hasn't pre-looked ahead in all the servers. FortressCraft locally, like, I have genuinely a separate SSD just for FortressCraft. But things like the branches can go. There are lots of stuff we can actually tidy up and fix stuff out. Yeah, exactly, Vieira. But if you change that video file, it's very unlikely any of the diff will be the same. But yeah, I'm going to be blowing away the history of FortressCraft by re-uploading the Subversion file locally, so none of the history. Yeah, well, Cryptic, I mean, that's obviously rubbing. If you're making a computer game, you upload the art. I mean, if we're just talking about source code, it doesn't matter, because obviously source code is tiny. Vieira, I bet you if you change the first 1K, that's fine. But now imagine you add a byte. So your 100 megabyte file becomes 100 megabytes and 1 byte. And that byte's at the beginning. Guarantee that's 100 megabytes. But this is the thing, is what you're talking about is a data file that doesn't really exist. I mean, maybe a texture file? Because if not even a text file, because texture files are compressed. So if you change the top left of a texture file, the bottom right isn't different, but the compression data won't be the same. It's just not how it works. Now, if you're talking about an uncompressed file, absolutely, no problems. If you change the top left of your uncompressed bitmap, the bottom right will be the same. It'll be fine. If you resize that texture, completely changed. If it is a compressed format, and assuming it's not a block compressed format, which most aren't, not. So I'm going to go now and ring the vet. Todd, if you can do all the... So I did. Todd, if you can do the stuff on your thing, those icons, I'm pretty sure I've committed. I have not, so I will commit. Thank you, Vieira. I will. I assume most of you are on Discord and or the Twitters, so I will make sure. And after this, Todd, unless there's anything I'm not aware of, that's it. So the final patch for FortressCraft should be this week, I believe. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I don't get to start a new list, that's fine. Released. So, there we go. Oops. I know. Zebra, I have a separate SSD just for FortressCraft, yes. No. I will be removing creative from FortressCraft 2 anyway. I might think about workshop stuff, because people have kind of said, oh, we want workshop stuff. And I'm like, you can already do that. If someone could have written a mod to allow you to do workshop stuff in Survival, no one did. What? Patrick, MVMV is just... it's still an SSD, isn't it? Yeah, it's still an SSD. Anyway, I'm off. So thank you so much, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow for non-FortressCraft stuff. Woo!